No matter how high-tech, highfalutin, lazy, or foo-foo America gets, we will never stop hunting and fishing. This is The Hunting Quest.
The Hunting Quest.
We take 1 hour of every week and talk about our favorite things in the world, hunting and fishing. You'll get tips and help on the fishing environment locally in the DMV area. Plus, we're going to have fun along the way. This is The Hunting Quest. And now your hosts, Mike Tippin and Mark Davis.
Right. We are live.
Okay, episode 4.
4.
Okay.
I'm glad you set me straight on that one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Well, it's so complicated because we did so many episodes that we never actually aired.
Yeah, I know.
With the secret episodes.
Yeah, one day. So, how was your week?
It was okay. I have to, I think first things first, get something out of the way that's been bothering me all week. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to go back to talking about Coyote Peterson and the Bigfoot skull.
Don't do it.
And
Are you issuing an official retract?
so I'm not going to retract it because I never said it was real. I never actually said for sure that he did it. I said that he put out there that he found a skull.
Yeah.
And then it looked like a primate skull, which it did because you know why? Because that's what it was supposed to look like.
All right.
And to me, everything looked a certain way. You know, like it was found in, because they staged it all to look that way. So the whole thing was fake. Turned out to be an episode that he had about Bigfoot. And what he had done was he had taken that clip out, posted it, and then later on in his episode that he actually put, which I think was, I saw it on YouTube, he was talking about the legend of Bigfoot, and then he said something to the extent of like, these actions aren't real, but if this happened, da, 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 da. And then it cuts to them being like, oh, look, we found a skull. So the entire thing was fake from the start. It was never real. It was never meant to be real. He's just a terrible person and made a fake link and upset me. And it's just
he's a terrible person.
It's awful. Well, you know,
He gets stung by stuff. So, I mean, no.
a lot of people were mad about it.
I'm wondering if that's fake too now.
Well, if you can't trust somebody about a Bigfoot skull, what can you trust them about?
Exactly.
So no. So yeah, the whole thing turned out to be fake, which a lot of experts were saying, like right in the beginning, like guys that, and I mean, what profession were you a professional like ape skull guy? But
Could be. Sure.
There was guys who were saying initially that did that like that part of biology. Were like I've had 1 million of those skulls and there's things that aren't right about it, and you didn't want to believe them because you wanted it to be true.
Of course.
But of course, no, it was all fake, and it was exciting, but it wasn't real. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to go back to work, and everything's normal, and the world hasn't changed. So
Hey, yeah, it just leaves, somebody else the time to find
somebody
it.
else will find it in another stream.
It's okay. I still see, look, hide and seek champion of all time. All time.
It's depressing. I wanted it to be real.
That's all right. Next
So
up.
that's that being squared away. The most important thing. What would you like to discuss? Unfortunately, we don't have any trips to discuss
Well,
because every time we try to go somewhere, things get canceled.
and you can't blame. I mean, honestly, in all of my dealings with guides, right? I have had guides who will never cancel a trip and put you out in a horrible situation, and you're never going to get anything. That's with. I can't say that with fishing, but a lot of like ducks, geese, turkey, especially turkey guides. They'll say, "Oh, this has never been hunted. This is great. You're going to have all these big turkey. You have all this stuff, whatever." And it just doesn't happen. And you're like, "All right, whatever." But I applaud him. He's like, "Look, we can go, but you're not going to see anything." So kudos to him for being, stand up guy, making sure he's not trying to take advantage of us.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're shooting with a bow, you're sight fishing.
Exactly.
If you can't see them,
Yeah.
then you're not going to get them.
Yep.
I mean, that's part. But we have quite a bit left in the season.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll get out there at some point. So
He gave me some dates, so we'll see. I got to get with you and Anna and make sure that we can do it.
well, it was like I
That'd be
told
cool.
you too. The second that came up, the muskie guy that I fished with called me up and was like, "Hey, it's been raining. It lets the water out of the dam. Do you want to go muskie fishing?" And of course, any other time I would have dropped
course.
everything and said, "Let's go." And I'm like, "No, I'm
I felt
going."
terrible just saying that.
Well, no, I didn't. I don't think I told you this. So he said, I said, "No, I can't go because we're going, bow fishing. I'm not going to be that, after all night bow fishers, do I be able to fish
Exhausting.
for 8 hours?" And he was like, "Oh, okay, well, whatever." Well, he still went. So I had texted him the next day.
Oh no!
And I said, "How did you do it?" And of course, all I can think in my mind is he's going to pull
Best
out
musky fishing ever.
pictures of 46-inch
Oh, yeah,
fish,
of
and they're
course.
holding them, and he's going to be like, "Oh, it was great," and you know, da da da, whatever. And of course, he said it was terrible, and it rained all day.
Oh no!
And they didn't get a single one in the boat. So I didn't feel that bad about it.
Okay, that's cool.
Now, had we got canceled for Snakehead, and then I went down there and then didn't catch anything, it would have been a sad weekend.
That's all right.
But you know, it never does. You know, you can never tell what's going to happen.
No. So
And that's part of life. People have to have more realistic expectations, especially go with a guide.
oh yeah,
Unless
for
you're
sure.
going to do like really simple fishing. If you're going after something that's,
dude, it's a
you
musky.
know, something
Yeah,
that's particularly hard to catch, it's not necessarily.
well, that's
Guaranteed.
fish of 1,000 casts, right?
And
Or
that's-
10,000 casts. So.
Well, and that was like when we went out just recently shark fishing.
Yeah.
Same thing. How often do you go out and chum and don't get something? But we just had a
You got
chance.
bad
where
luck, you got no luck,
100 dolphins came out and hung around. And that was kind of cool just to watch them.
That is.
So you never
That
really
is.
know.
It's awesome.
So, you want to talk about?
Oh yeah. So we got some business to do. The Virginia Bass Slam is on. So DWR has officially announced their Virginia Bass Slam. So what does that consist of? They're promoting the largemouth fisheries and all that stuff. Most of this you can get directly from the Virginia DWR. It's called the Virginia Bass Slam Challenge, and
They actually sent this to us.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
sent this
yeah.
to get publicized.
Yeah.
I don't know when it
so it started.
came out.
Yeah, I was looking for dates when it started.
I didn't
but
see it on here. I was trying to
didn't
figure it out too.
But I like the concept of it. I think it's really cool to get people out. Essentially, what you got to do is you go out and they want you to catch three of the four species of fish, or all four. They have a Go Outdoors VA site. You go in there and it shows you, hey, look, this is our Bass Slam application. Fill it out with your pictures of each one: largemouth, smallmouth, striped bass, or hybrid stripe, which is still a striped bass as far as I'm concerned. But they said they'll accept hybrids, which is cool. But if you hit the ultimate trifecta there, that they'll and you send them the pictures, you follow the application, they'll send you one of the Bass Slam stickers, which I'm a sticker guy, so I like that. It's cool. Plus, it's a challenge. Not that fishermen need a challenge to begin with, but it's a really cool one. So I'll participate and see how it goes. So
So I was just looking about the hybrids,
yeah,
and because I didn't want to say it, so I looked it up. But so like Lake Anna, those are hybrids.
yep, yeah.
That's a stocking program, so that
Yep.
would be a hybrid. And then I guess probably some of the lake ones, and then
Yeah.
the ones you're near estuaries would all be your traditional ones.
Absolutely. I think there's like a couple of places that actually are impounds that have that are stocked, but they're not considered hybrid. I don't understand how they can do that, but
So
who knows?
okay, so striped bass are really interesting. In a couple ways that they operate. Well, let's talk about that. It's not a bass.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it is a bass. It's not a okay. So a striped
not a
bass.
cichlid.
Yes, it's not a cichlid like we think of a bass.
Right.
So a striped bass in the family of being a bass. A striped bass is more of the family of the striped bass, the white perch, and the white bass.
Sure.
Essentially the same fish, just different sizes.
Right.
So the white perch is probably the most compact one, and the striped bass is a more elongated body. But the meat's same. They hide the same. They very, very similar to catch. So what we have now over the years is that they are migratory fish.
Sure.
They come up and down. We talk about the stripers running in the bay and
Right.
all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. The Potomac, you always hear about that in the fall.
And that's a whole nother conversation there.
Well, what's interesting about that is that we don't necessarily have that 100%.
Right.
So when we talk about these hybrid bass and all this kind of stuff, you sometimes will have really in the estuaries, especially a lot. They don't leave. They're there all winter.
Yeah.
And they never leave. They never migrate.
Right.
And you can tell after doing it for a while, if you're out there fishing, like down in the like lower bay or anywhere where they're starting to run in from the ocean, you
Yeah.
can tell the difference between a striped bass from the ocean and a striped bass that's been living in the estuary and never leaves. It just they feel different. They look different.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that goes into play too with how their breeding becomes different.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the Canadian geese. There's a lot of geese that migrate.
You mean Canada geese?
Canada geese. So there's a lot of geese that don't migrate.
Right. Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, so and I don't know what drives them to or not
Right.
to, but for the longest time, I never heard anybody talk about that.
Yeah, we call them locals.
And then, yeah, well, that's the bass
they have 'em.
were really interested that you would catch some
Yeah.
monster bass in the estuaries, and it was just because the weather they don't need to follow it.
Yeah, I went. It was one of my like my son's birthday. He wanted to go fishing, so we went with this awesome charter, Strike Zone charter, and it was awesome. We first of all they're so highly in tune with the with the run and they do more than just the striped bass and everything like that. But really good charter service if you're looking for one. I mean they didn't. They didn't give us anything to say that, but I was really impressed with it. It was a top operation. So, but
Where were they out of?
Maryland somewhere.
Maryland somewhere.
Maryland.
Okay.
But I had never. I mean, I'd caught striped bass like here or there, but never to the level that you see here. Right? I mean, it's insane here. So we went out, and it's like May time frame, early April, May time frame, and two kids and parents and all that having a good time, and we just happened to pick a day that wasn't a raindrop in the sky, but but there were swells like 4 feet in the freaking bay, and we're like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. But we limited out really quick. The guy knew about it, and he had mentioned a lot about bass and the stripes and that whole. I mean, there's more knowledge there about that I'll never have. So, I you constantly try to improve what you know and your knowledge, and that's just, I mean, but that guy kind of turned me on to different things about the difference between trophy bass and the difference between what, trophy bass and what you can catch and what you can't catch and limits and all that. So, it's a very, very regulated fishery for sure. So, yeah, it is what it is. But
the other thing too is that I realized it later on about the bass that run and the bass that stay.
Yeah.
Because when we were young, so up north, more up north than here,
Right.
like up in like New Jersey and New York and the coast area, Maine,
Sure.
they do that really, really big into the surf fishing off the jetties.
Gotcha.
And you'll see them go out there and they get some monsters out there. And here you can do like some jetty fishing, the rocks or whatever. And we'll go out there and do it in the middle of the summer.
really,
July, I'd be catching, the random striper.
kidding.
And then, people be out there just fishing regular stuff, catch a random striper. And I would catch random ones off of spinners. And people would always thought it was the weirdest thing that out there, like not like an inline spinner, like a big, like the biggest maps I have with like a whitetail or a chartreuse. And
chartreuse, what a good word.
chartreuse. It's like the one thing that works out there.
Yeah.
And we would catch them. That's when I started to notice that. But I will say this. And it's been a while since I've been out there, but it did seem that the ones that don't migrate are more disease prone.
Really,
That you would tend to see in the summer, and maybe
hole in the head or like worms or
lesions.
What? Yeah,
And
really.
it may actually have not even been that. It may just been that they're there in the summer and they get more lesions.
Well, you're fishing on the
in
jetty
summer.
too. I mean, imagine they're going to get beat up a little bit there. So, I mean, who knows?
Well, because I remember one day we caught two,
Okay.
and one was they're like in the 30s, and one was beautiful
Yeah.
and just not a spot on a great looking fish, and the other one, the whole one side was just terrible lesions all over.
Really?
So I don't know if that has something to play with it too.
Who knows?
There's all kinds of weird stuff, and especially in those tidal regions, you never know what you're gonna catch or what's out
Well,
there.
and there's a couple of really good people who come in here and they know way more about this than I think I ever will. But maybe we look to talk to some of them and have a show just about stripers. And
Striper's hard because the problem with stripers is that it's very boat driven.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so if you're not out there running like umbrella rigs,
Yeah.
really fishing all the time, which we used to do when I was a kid, you're not really going to get out there and catch a ton. Like you might get the chance to run
Right.
by. So we'd go sit at the piers at night and wait for the run. And it's funny because you go in the summer, you go to a fishing pier, and the place is packed. I
Right.
mean, it's packed with people. They got all these cheap rods they bought, everything's
Sure.
whatever. Hey, they're having fun. They're out there camping and fishing and doing
you
that kind
can't
of
beat
stuff.
that. They're outside.
Come October, the wind starts picking up, it gets cold.
Not a
You're
soul.
there with like 5 guys. And everything they got's really nice, and they're hunkered down, they're waiting, and they
Right.
got all the rods. And you would wait for the stripers to run under the pier. And when they would run, you would jig for them. And you would jig with like vertical jigs, like gotcha plugs or like silver weighted spoons.
Yeah.
And just slam them. But then when they were gone,
That's
they
it.
were gone. And
Yeah.
you had to sit there for
Crickets.
hours just jigging along, hoping that they would come, and then you'd roll back through and catch a bunch as quick as you could.
Right.
So it's other than like those kind of opportunities,
Yeah.
you've really got to be out there trolling for them and covering an area because they are constantly moving.
Well, so let's get back to this real quick. But so the Virginia Bass Slam, we'll put it up on the website.
Yeah.
It's thehuntingquest.com. We'll put the couple of links out there. We'll try to get it linked up here in the YouTube as well. So
It's on DWR sites.
yeah, it's on DWR's site. So
It's got this logo.
nice, good logo. It's not hard to find. So there's our good deed plug.
Oh, they got a hashtag for it. Hashtag
do they?
VA
Oh,
Bass
VA
Slam. It's on the fishing lure in the picture.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty neat.
Oh, I like that. It's kind of slick. Crankbait.
Well,
So
they
go out
used
there.
to do some of those.
And if you wind up participating, we'd love to see your catches as well. Send us some pictures. If you got video, send us some videos. We'll throw it up on whatever social media platform we can throw it up to, and that'd be kind of slick. Have a good time with it. And if you get that sticker, good on you. Take a picture of that too.
This stuff's always neat. Like
Oh,
when
yeah,
they do
I like
like the
it.
tags.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like
you
it.
catch them, you get a certain tag,
Yep.
and you get some
Absolutely.
kind of something. Because I'm not going to talk about it because I can't remember the name of it, but they used to do it with a bait. It was worth like a bunch of money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
that's
certain
cool.
tagged ones, but
Make them hard to get.
the
though.
odds,
Yeah.
you going out there and getting it. But I don't remember what it was called. It was a really cool program they used to do.
That's cool.
I think they
So-
still do it. It's usually around fall.
And so there's that. I did want to talk about the other thing too. Is over on the website, we do have a fishing and hunting blog. Obviously, we haven't gotten into hunting season yet, but it's coming right around the corner. But we've had some good blog stuff. If people want to send us stuff they want to publish up on the blog, let me know. We can give you access into that, and you can write right until your heart is content about as long as it's related to hunting and fishing, and it's not in a negative aspect. And we'd love to have some more writers contribute, but we did have one writer who contributed, and her name is Cameron Brock.
I didn't know this.
So she is an amazing woman. She's a mom, and she has her son, who I have loved. I've nicknamed him Taters. He's a really, really cool kid.
Oh, you did mention this. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
That's right. I remember the kid.
So she wrote a really, really good piece about parenting and hunting, and she's got a lineage from hunting and outdoors and all that like nobody's business. And her dad is really cool. Granddad's awesome. That whole group of people, and we talked about her son being fifth generation. That's really cool. But so kind of a plug to her. Go out, read that article. Comment and let us know what you think. I think it was really cool that she wrote it. I think parenting, trying to parent a kid and being an outdoors person is a pretty cool setup. So
No, that's really neat. I think anything anybody contributes
Right.
to that is fantastic.
but so that was kind of my one plug too, is that go over there and take a look. But the other thing, I see you got some stuff that's sitting like right in front of you. What do you got there?
Well, we were talking the other day about lures in general.
Right. Yep.
And we were talking about the difference between live bait fishing and lure fishing, and depends on who you are. But some people like I like to use lures. It's a little funner. It keeps me entertained more. If I was out there, saltwater fishing, a lot of times it's a little different. You're going to want to use bait, especially depending on what you're doing.
Sure.
And we had discussed a little bit about talking about things that people use when they first start, like what lures would be the easiest lures to use, what they're for, things like that. Because I get that a lot. People come in here and they say, "Hey, I want to fish.
What should I go with?
What should I do?" And the first question I really ask them is where are you fishing?
Yeah.
And then what do you want to catch? Do you even have a goal? Is there anything here?
Yeah.
And there a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know, like some bass or something." Kind of have an idea what's out here. They're gonna do some ponds. Some people don't have any idea. You know what I mean?
Which is cool.
Which is fine. They just they're gonna get the same answer probably that I'm gonna give anybody else. But at the end of the day, it's usually pretty simplistic stuff. It's stuff you start with, things that are easy to retrieve, easy to use.
Yep.
And I wanted to talk about that, but I wasn't really ready for it today.
I got you.
And as much as I did want to talk about that, I didn't have the boxes with me that have the more simple things. Now,
Understand.
I do have some simple things, but the core simple things. And what I would normally say people to start with for me would be like inline spinners.
Yep. What's in your car, right?
What's the simple things that I always have that I take with me, like inline spinners are always really easy to use. Beetle spins are like really easy to use. Little jigs are easy to use. All that kind of really small. The things that you've seen on the shelf since you were a kid
Right.
that are still on the shelf in different packaging.
Sure.
The really simplistic stuff that tends to work. And those tend to be really easy things to go through. And I think one day we will have an episode talking about that. But I realized we didn't have anything. And as I went through my car to grab stuff to talk about, I realized that I did. I mean, I have spinners.
Yeah. No, you don't have spinners. You
but-
have spinners. Dude, that's insane.
But I mean, the reality is these are all bass spinners.
I get
So
it.
I mean, you're not going to catch anything small on this. Anything that's going to hit is going to be large. I mean, there's musky spinners there too.
It's insane.
There's giant ones like that. So I realized that this was going to be kind of overwhelming
Yeah.
to talk to people about spinners. Just like, oh, hey, there's a couple different ones, and
And here's my collection.
so it's funny though because they're all very basically the same. I mean, I'm all about willows, and I
we
don't
talked
really
about
like
that.
too many painted
Yeah,
brands.
you're not a
so-
Colorado blade.
There's
guy.
some in here.
Yeah, but you're not a Colorado blade.
No, there's not that many. If you look, they're all very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of differences too, and weights are different, stuff like that. I mean, so you get like the big ones. Then they're like double hooked with trailers and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go into that because I thought that was a bit much.
For now.
And
yeah.
then
Maybe
yeah,
we
no,
just
no,
do
no.
an episode on spinners.
And that's true too.
Yeah.
And then
Talk
I
days on
had
that.
some jigs and stuff. But if you look, there's an empty compartment in there because there was a bunch of frogs in there.
Ah, the frog.
And I thought, how neat is that to talk about?
Easy.
Hollow body frogs.
Easy.
And the reason I wanted to talk about hollow body frogs was because there's actually a lot of variance in them.
Sure.
And people don't realize what it is,
Sure.
what's going on. Now, I will say this. When you get out there and you fish topwater and you do catch something with a frog,
You're hooked.
it's the funnest thing ever,
Yeah, you won't give it up.
When you throw it out there and you're skipping across and the fish actually hits it,
Yep.
even if they don't get it. I mean, it's just so neat sometimes even just to watch them, watch them hit. So they tend to all be pretty similar to an extent when we look at hollow body frogs. It's hollow body. So we call hollow body frog. You know what I mean? There's nothing to it. They'll usually have a double hook. You can see sticking out there a little bit. And what happens is when the fish comes up,
Now you've done it.
no, I gotta set it back in.
It squishes.
Yeah, fish comes up, it hits it.
Squishy.
It squishes, the hooks go through, and you grab it.
Gotcha.
So, not the easiest thing to set,
Set
a
a
hook
hook.
with.
No, not at all.
So, expect when you're using a frog to be a lot of learning curve.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, expect to lose a lot in general.
Yeah. Well, they get beat up. I mean,
Oh, and they're going to give you, and that's too, is as you use them, you'll notice too, when you first start to use them, they'll float really well.
Right.
And then they'll start to sink more. You got to pull them out. And you got to squish the water out of them. They tend to be counterweighted in the back. There's
Right.
a weight. I think most of these have a weight or two in them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So if you look, these are the basic designs normally with these little skirt feet
right.
that go around. There's one in a green. There's a blue. These are real basic ones.
So
These are red,
I got a question for you. I've already got a question.
average
Well, yeah.
size. I'm listening.
So
little smaller.
the skirts.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews. I've tried it. I don't see any significant success out of it, but I've seen people say cut one side so it swims differently.
I've never been big
I've
on
tried it. I don't see a
on
difference.
cutting it. I've heard that before too. Think of it as when it's going through the water, this is just dragging more
Yeah.
behind it, more to make more of a disturbance in the water.
Yeah.
It's hard. I've seen some that have like actual legs.
Yep.
Those to me, anytime I tried to use them, didn't look right. They didn't
Right.
look natural. They didn't look good. And remember, you want to go kind of fast. You want that impulse. You want to hit it when they go, or hit it on the delay, like when you go fast and stop.
Right.
So you're gonna tend to use a bait caster. It's really hard to use an open face reel, and then something that's going to be of a higher speed. But
Well, you're
these-
looking like 8-to-1 ratio, 7-to-1, 8-to-1.
that's what I run.
Yeah, 8-to-1.
I think I run like 8-to-1, or like a very stiff rod too.
Yeah.
And I usually run braid, and usually something way heavier than I need, just because
Braid
I
with a
want to be
leader or
able
braid
to.
without a leader?
Well, I always run a leader because I don't like to tie knots on the braid onto a swivel.
Right.
But no, I don't think it would be necessarily different to have a reason because they're not going to hit anywhere near because the lure's so big.
Right.
But they do tend to get stuck up in the grime and the stuff that you're in. So I always used to tend to use like a much stronger braid than I'll ever need.
Sure.
Just so I could rip them out of there and yank them out when they get stuck. So yeah, my these would be a medium heavy or a heavy rod with a fast action tip, and I could run it like that, and then a faster reel.
8-to-1. I mean, you get away with 7-to-1. Hell, yeah. I mean, you could get away with a 6-to-1.
You could use whatever, but the
you're going to
faster
be spinning a lot.
the faster, the easier for
That
you.
retrieval is going to be tough.
But what gets interesting is
I guess we should explain what 8-to-1, 7-to-1, 6-to-1. So, essentially 8-to-1 is for one turn on your handle.
So
you
many
have,
turns this will.
yeah, you have 8 turns on your line essentially. So,
I should have brought my.
but we can get into that.
Yeah, I should have brought that frog rod in. I didn't even think about it.
I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get in there and say, "Oh well, people don't understand what we're talking about." Make sure they understand.
And if you don't understand it too, at the end, you can totally ask a question, put it in
Yeah, put it in the comments. Send us
put it in a
emails.
post, whatever. If you think I'm full of shit, tell me I'm full of shit. Whatever.
Yeah. I think we've got chat up as well, so you could
Hey.
probably tell him that right now. If you
I
wanted to.
like I say, I'm no expert. I'm not winning Bassmasters, but these are things that I've noticed. Works out well. There's a littler frog, and if this guy didn't have a skirt, I don't think you'd catch anything with him.
Yeah, it's too small.
But as far as getting hits, you might make more hits on it because it's easier to get in their mouth. You might catch better.
It's got legs, and that's just
Yeah,
straight
he's
skirt.
no, it's got little fake feet
Got a little
skirt,
fake lead too. Oh,
but they're
it
really
does.
just skirts to it.
Oh, okay, it's kind of cool.
But
yeah.
those are interesting. But I will say, and I normally don't like to be brand specific.
I think if you took the skirt off of this, you'd probably have something along the lines of like a water bug or maybe like a locust, something like that.
So the idea when they ship those out, that little guy,
Right.
you can have them. Like the idea is you can flip that skirt off and you can run just the feet, or you can run just the skirt, or you can run the skirt and the feet. I just do them all.
I would always put it.
I don't honestly know if I've even used that thing because it's so small.
Some sharp hooks.
Oh yeah, well that's what you definitely want.
Yeah, cool.
But I don't tend to be brand specific when we're
Liar.
talking about stuff.
Liar.
No. When we're talking about stuff, I don't tend to be brand specific because there's no reason for me to be brand specific. If you want to use something of a certain brand, that's fine.
That's what works for you, right?
But with frogs, I'm definitely biased on the frogs. So I like Teckle frogs. That's packaging. Teckle frogs. This is who makes this? This is also the people that make. Oh yeah, so it's Grand Bass is a company, but they make Lucky Craft.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you've been to the store, we have a lot of Lucky Craft stuff,
That's cool.
which I think are really, really good lures. They're not cheap, but
Right.
they're really, really good quality stuff. And I find that the Teckle frogs are really, really good quality, and you have some options. They're not the cheapest thing in the world, about $14, but there's also much more expensive stuff. Than
Oh,
that
God,
out there.
yeah.
But what's neat about the Teckle frogs is you have some options. So we just grabbed the same colors off the wall this time. I mean, not that I would pick this color per se, but I just wanted to show you the difference
Why not?
in skirt.
I like white.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I just
Messing
just
with
happened
you.
to be what
I
I picked
just
up.
messing with you.
I just wanted something that was biased, not
No, I
biased.
get
So this one has regular
It's got the
skirt
regular
feet.
Skirt feet.
Like these do. Same kind of thing. Same kind of concept. Run it across. It makes it a little bit more of a disturbance in the water. Yeah, that's the idea. If you look,
And it's a straight retrieval, right? I mean, just
that's
really
how
straight in.
That's why I don't know. So depending on what you have in the water. So like, I find if I'm running them through just like muck, like just like algae on the top.
Yep.
I'll just kind of crank them through, just kind of quick.
Right.
And then if there's like lily pads or some growth, maybe I'll move them a little bit and let them take a break and then go back and forth, so that it feels like they're going to cover to cover to cover.
Gotcha.
So that the fish in it. I mean, I've seen where guys throw it into stuff where I'm like, there's no water there,
Oh yeah.
and then fish jump out. So it's
So I can tell you, for me, two things that I really like about frogs. Number one is they're pretty hardy. They're really a lot less. I mean, weedless is what they're built for, and I like that. But one of the cool things, and I talked to a couple other people, about this. Those typically work really well if you're on the boat and you're casting towards the shore, or if you can get onto a point and you're casting back. and you hit the shore and then pull it off.
Yes.
This I have had more hits on frogs with that feature. I mean, like it comes off and you set it for like 2-3 seconds and maybe jump it just a little bit and they just destroy it. But I've also had it where, a lot of skim, a lot of algae, and you find that, it's sitting on top and then you find that one little hole where it breaks up and you drop it in there and they just destroy it. So
I think that they're naturally going to look at the shoreline.
yeah.
Top wise above them, but they're not going to look behind them.
Right.
Not for something moving.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
That's the behavior of a frog, though. I mean, they're coming off the shore into the water.
They didn't disappear in the middle
Right.
of the lake. So I always tell people cast it in towards the shore.
Yeah.
Like I said, like you were saying, like if you could go out on a jetty or peninsula and kind of get a corner,
Yep.
or get near some structure, or
Sure.
maybe if there's a log sitting off,
Absolutely.
something where it looks like there would be some
Right.
kind of cover or a reason for it to be there.
Sure.
If you threw it out in the middle and started cranking, I'm not saying it wouldn't hit it,
Right.
but if those fish have pressure,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna be like, "Meh, something's not right
And
there."
that's a,
So in an environment where they're being fished, you're probably not gonna. Now a place that's never been fished in the pond, they'll be like, I don't know what that is. They'll just eat it to eat it. So
oh, yeah.
with that being said, that then gets to, so we have the feet like this, and the other type they make have little spinner feet on them.
That's cool.
So I don't know how I feel about these.
Okay. They look cool.
Well, here's a couple of things about this. What were we just talking about? You're going to run this through skim and grossness and dirtiness, and I don't think those feet are going to get that great of a spin unless it's clear water to get a shine. Second off, have you ever seen a shiny frog that was like silver?
No.
No. And what do we normally see in a flash idea? The idea it's mimicking that flash like fish feeding.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if maybe it would work off the idea that as it was swimming, it looked like other fish were trying to eat it. And maybe the other fish would go after it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the idea that it makes a wake so it goes through it. I'd like to see if those being silver matter versus if you painted them the same color as the body.
Makes sense.
I don't know, but it's interesting that you have an option.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty big brand. I imagine somebody out there
Oh, well, Tekla
could probably answer that question for us. And if you can, let us know.
Tekla was one of the first ones to do like variety.
Yeah.
And everybody will mimic everybody. They'll have a bunch, but they were one of the first to do this. Now, the best ones, in my opinion, are these.
Right.
Okay, and we have one on the package. So this. So same body, same everything, but off the back, it's just got a swivel and a little anchor line in there. And this guy just threads on there. And you just crank it through at about a faster, medium fast speed, and it just goes wop, 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 wop. It makes that break in the water, and it's a very natural looking movement. The sound's really good, and they just hit it like crazy.
And you said straight retreat.
Just that's all I do with it because you want that tail
Yeah,
wop,
that
wop,
tail
wop,
just
wop, wop, wop,
like a
wop.
spinner almost, right?
Yeah, and well, it's like a whopper plopper if you ever
Yeah.
use one of those,
Oh,
or like a what do they call the spinners on the top? Buzz baits.
Baits. Yeah.
But not as fast. So it's just like a slower whoop, 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 whoop. It'll be bubbles.
Gotcha.
As it goes through. And you will get so many hits. Now the downside is that with these, I always get like a whole bunch of fish can't eat it. So like a whole
they're
bunch of
just
fish
coming
are
up
too small. They're just
beating it up
just boom, 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 hitting it. But I get more hits
on that.
with that paddle tail doing that than any other frog I've ever had.
So how well does that paddle tail hold up?
Well, they give you two in the package.
Smart.
Because they tend to get chewed up.
You're going to get beat up pretty hard. That's cool.
I know that this one I had a spare.
And you can change colors on that paddle tail too. So you could run that's like a darker color and run it with like a white tail or chartreuse or something like that.
Yeah, what's kind of neat is if you bought a bunch.
Right.
Like here's this guy, he's got two tails.
Right.
So you could switch the tails out from that guy to this guy to whatever you wanted to do. And yeah, this green one, he's got that different color tail too.
Green
so you
one
can
with a
switch
white
it out.
tail on would be pretty slick.
So they tend to, for me, they work really, really well. I'm very impressed with them. Like I said, there's a couple other brands now that are making these. These were like, to me, the first ones I ever saw. And for all I know, they could have got it from somebody else. But
Sure.
I saw these first, and I thought these were really, really, really neat. Now,
Yeah. Now those are called sprinkler tails, I think.
so these are sprinkler. Yeah, so those are all sprinkler. This is called a honker.
Honker.
And then that one.
Whacker.
Oh, it's written on the front.
Yeah.
I was reading it off the back. So I was like, how did you know that's what it was? But yeah, so that's what they are. And they make them in a whole bunch of different colors.
Yeah.
We have a bunch in stock. I'm sold completely out of any of the paddle tail ones.
They get used.
Those ones, they sell out first. And then after that, it goes probably, these sell out next.
Gotcha.
And then after that's the other ones. They're not easy to get.
Right.
I think they're Japanese import. It's got a bunch of,
Japanese.
hooks made in Japan, item made in China, Japanese. So it's imported from overseas, but it is not easy to get. Like you don't see them that much in stores.
Right.
So they're really, really cool.
I have never seen. Well, I won't say never. I've seen that brand before, but I hadn't seen that brand until I came into your shop. And then,
Well-
I mean, you see them there, and then you start hearing people talk about them. Like, that's a strange name. And then Hooked, it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, we were talking about like the different kayak clubs, and at one
Right.
point, one of them would come in, and they had sent some guys up to come see, and they drove up here for like an hour and a half to come and do something, pick something up. They came in. I think we had like 200 tackles at the time, just like a display of them. Of course, we don't have that many now. And they were like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this many!" And they bought like I don't know, like a ton of them. They just bought them like it was nothing because they just never seen. First off, they knew what they were.
Oh, of course.
But when they did see them, they only had like 2 colors.
Yeah.
We had like every variety of color they had at the time. So they were just buying them like crazy. Because once you use them, they're really, 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 really good. It's a good quality.
Sure.
As far as this, regular tail, if you like using these and you're good at it, then this is just going to be a good example of a quality lure for it.
Gotcha.
If you like to use this popper tail because it's cool, you're going to like it. And if you use these spinners, I don't know, tell me about it because I've never used it.
Right.
But I can see a couple different ways it could work, but it doesn't seem to me like the most ideal topwater idea, but it could be. I don't know. That's like I said, not a whole lot of chance. But this guy, I probably had 4 of these. This is the last one.
Right.
That's the other thing too, because you tend to get them snagged up and then you don't get them back.
Well, and how about we entice the pot a little bit? How about if we can get somebody to send us some pictures where they caught it on one of these little honker using a honker?
Okay, yeah, I know where we're going with this. Go ahead.
I'll give them a frog of their choice.
Okay, yeah, that's
You
fine.
good with that?
So I'll say this: we probably don't have any of the bow tails. So if you, if
Well,
you know
it'll
what?
be on me. So
If you buy, well, you gotta be able to get it from somewhere.
yeah.
If you get one of these and you catch something on it and you show us it, we'll go ahead. We'll give you another one for free.
But it's like first 3. 'Cause if they start
Oh,
sending-
you were gonna give more than one. I meant like the first person.
Okay, cool.
You
First
wanna-
person.
Do
That's
you
cool.
want to do the first person?
We'll do first person.
We'll do the first person.
All right.
We'll see how it goes.
All right.
But definitely. You know what? That's fine. We can start to do some neat stuff like that.
I like that.
Some
I think
giveaways,
it'd be pretty
some
slick.
ideas, some things like that to do.
Yeah.
Get people out there trying some stuff they're not used
Yeah.
to.
So I had another one I wanted to tell you about.
Go ahead.
All right. So I figure when we hit our, I don't know, we'll figure out the number, but we have another giveaway there. When we hit our number for like subscribers and all that stuff.
That was really loud. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's your drink. Yeah, you're going to catch hell for it.
Yeah, I just did.
And
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, she got you. But I say, whenever say at 100 subscribers, we give away something pretty cool.
So we talk about subscribers for what?
YouTube or
So it's YouTube. Yeah. Okay, so we have a Facebook and a YouTube, and tell us what we have.
how many?
What platforms do we have?
We currently have 32 subscribers on YouTube.
Okay,
YouTube is the one we need subscribers on.
okay,
So that should be.
And
your
but what else do we
giveaway.
have too as well?
We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
Okay, so you want to start with a
I want a YouTube.
YouTube one?
Yes.
That works. Okay. So what should we shoot? Do you want to do simple and start with 50, or do you want to do 100?
I don't know. Talk to the boss over there. What do you think, Anna? 50 or 100?
We're at 32. So I
Okay.
say once we get to 100,
Okay,
you guys can do your giveaway.
cool.
What are we giving away?
I know what I want to give away.
What do you want to give away?
I want to give. I want to. I will come out of my pocket and give away a St. Croix rod.
What kind of St. Croix?
Victory.
A Vic.
Actually, I like a Bass X.
What'd you do, Bass? We have Mojo Bass too.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Mojo Bass. Mojo Bass. That's
I don't know
awesome.
if there's really a difference in price
I
between the
don't know,
Mojo
but
Bass
it
and the
doesn't
Bass X. Whatever. I would put some caveats on that.
Got to show some pictures.
I think if they're gonna, it's the 50,
No, 100.
100, sorry, 100,
Yeah.
100 people. Okay. They got to pick it up at the store, take a picture with it.
Cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah. That way they do that.
Sure.
So, but,
So there you have it. 100 subscribers. We'll do a drawing out of the 100 subscribers, and do a giveaway.
okay. So what we'll do is we'll get some more information on it. We'll go pull around
Right.
tonight
Okay. Cool.
off the rack that we
All
want to do it with.
All right.
And we'll go ahead and we'll post it on the Facebook page and everything like that.
Cool.
And what the rules are. It'll all be really simple, but still gotta
Yeah,
write
it
all
can't
the
be
rules
hard.
down. And then we'll go ahead and that'll be the giveaway. So that'll be
awesome.
probably what's a Mojo Bass Rod go for? What's the MSRP on that?
They range from 140 to 175, I believe.
All right. That's a pretty good giveaway.
So that's a pretty good giveaway. That's a decent prize to win there.
I think so.
Especially for our first one. Well, I guess your first giveaway is a weird little frog giveaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great.
I
No.
don't know. We got to find people who've taken pictures.
Yeah, so that's key. No, I think it's a great idea.
Cool.
I think people like that. And on top of that, too, just to be said, is that the more we publicize and the more we get out there, we will definitely keep doing giveaways.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And we'll switch them up, too. So even if you subscribe,
Yeah.
don't think that there's not going to be an opportunity for you to win something else. Like, oh, they only give away for, hitting marks.
Yeah.
We might even pull random people that are already
Yeah.
subscribed and things like that, and maybe do some photo contests and stuff
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
that's cool.
Because
Yeah.
we
I like the
usu-
photo contest thing. I'm a big fan of seeing what people are getting out there.
We usually have plenty of time to give stuff away, too.
And hunting season's around the corner.
Well,
so-
and on top of that too, if you do go on our page, any of our page and post stories or pictures
Yeah.
or anything like that, we may just randomly pick people at times to give stuff.
I
to.
like that.
And I mean that's stuff that we've done before with the store.
I like that.
So
a
we
lot.
might just say, there's never going to be a downside to sharing us or adding us or doing anything to it or making
Yeah.
comments or being
Yeah, we don't share
proactive.
we're not trying to share your info or anything like that.
So if you definitely get out there and be part of this,
Yeah.
the more you are, the more chances you'll have to probably get
I
something.
think that I like
from
that.
us, so.
I like that, and I like the pictures. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I don't like social media. I'll be quite honest. I get it. It's just not my style. And I say it's not. I don't have time for it. Right. I love looking at it. I love seeing like videos and stuff like that, and that's cool. But my active participation in a lot of social media is definitely limited, I think. So, but I think we've had some really cool pictures. We had a lot of people send us really cool stuff. We've had some cool stuff going along, and I don't know. It's been cool. So I like that. I think that's awesome.
It was always really neat when we would do giveaways in the summer for the fishing pictures because we would do 2 categories. So we do like kids and adults, and it was always. I mean, adult pictures are neat, but it's always so funny to see all the kids with all that kind of stuff.
I
It's always
love
the
it.
best part to it.
I mean, you show a kid catching their first fish, or you show a kid catching their first big fish, and they got this super smile on their face. And I mean, I can tell you right now, I remember when my son caught his first one. We were out in California, and he didn't get to go on the boat trip, not because they were being mean. They were like, yeah, he's a little, or he's smaller, probably doesn't have the patience to kind of stay out here as long as we want to stay. So I was like, cool, we'll go fishing. And I went to this little bait shop that was right there. And, I mean, they come back and they're like, oh yeah, we caught like 3 or 4. And my son had like a stringer of 8. And it's like, I got his first picture. He had his hat. I mean, it's great. So those are good moments in life, right? So make you smile, make parents proud, kind of cool like that. So yeah, I'm a big fan of stuff like that.
Well, it's funny you brought up something that. I mean, I didn't really plan on touching on it, but it was interesting because it came up today. It comes up every so often, and I always tell people the same thing. So this time of year, especially, people are going on vacation.
Yep.
A lot of people going on vacation. Ocean City, Myrtle Beach, whoever, Florida, whatever they're doing, they go out there.
For sure.
And they always say, I'm going to be on there for a week. I want to fish. And sometimes they're trying to buy gear from me and stuff like that. And sometimes they want to buy a rod or something, I'll sell them that. Or I'll sell them stuff that I know is basically going to work.
Sure.
But most of the time I tell them, you really don't want to talk to me about it. I can tell you what I know from experience saltwater fishing, but it's different everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So, because you hit on it, we said the bait shop. I always tell people if you're going to go, like if you're going down to Myrtle Beach or something, go down there and then ask the bait shop
Yep.
there when you get there. Hey, I'm
Find a
here
local
for the
shop,
weekend. What do I want? Now, Dick's isn't going to help you.
No, local knowledge
know,
in a bait shop that looks like it's been there for 50 years and all that stuff that's the way to go.
Yeah, somewhere, where they're talking to you, then that's the place to go.
Right.
And you go, hey, what's happening? And they're going to tell you, oh, this is running or that's running, and
Yeah.
this is what you should use, and that's what you should use. And
Right.
And I think that people really need to stay on that, especially too in those touristy places.
Yeah.
That's their whole
The whole
season.
industry right there.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
That's
their money.
summertime. If you don't, if you guys aren't out there supporting them, the years go by, they're not going to be there anymore.
Right.
And then you're going to be going, oh, where do I get bait, or how can I do this, or there's nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they will just, they slowly
it's all gone.
disappear. And the funny part about that too is that they tend to know a lot of knowledge that you're not going to find out.
Right.
Because like the commercial boats will talk to them.
Yep.
A commercial fisherman's never going to tell you anything.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
But he'll talk to those guys. And those guys
Because he
will-
drinks coffee with them at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, when
and,
he's picking up gear, picking
absolutely,
up bait, So,
So-
I always think it's interesting that people ask me that, and I always say, well, it literally just happened today when I was in the store. And I said, no. When you get down there, he said, I'm going to Myrtle Beach. What should I take? And I was like, wow, where are you going to do? I'm going to go off the pier or off the beach or whatever. I said, well, get some big circle hooks, some weight,
Yeah.
see if you get some bait, throw it out there. But really,
Yeah.
after that, you need to ask them down there what's going on, and they're
Yeah.
going to show you that.
I tell people if they're gonna fish in the shallow waters, great, get some shrimp. Just go get live shrimp. Just put it on the hook and see what you catch. If you're fishing off a pier, you're in bigger water, meaning bigger fish, and you need to probably speak to somebody locally, or at least have a rod that could be able to handle bigger fish, meaning fish with a lot of teeth, something like that. So
Someone was asking me the other day about, say if they go on vacation fishing, it comes up this time of year a lot. And they said, what cheese for bait? And I was
Right.
like, I don't know, what do you got? They're like, what did you normally use last time? We use squid. I was like, I don't know, squid, shrimp, bloodworms, depends. He was like,
Yeah.
bloodworms work. And I said, they either work really well or they're
they
not
don't work at
working.
all.
And I said, and they're very expensive. They're
Yeah.
so expensive to catch them on my hand.
right.
And he was like, oh, I had no idea. And I was like, well, did you ever ask anybody where you were down there? That's the key thing.
Nope.
You really got to ask people.
Yeah.
It's like any other business or any other industry. You're not going to learn anything until you actually get the people to do it.
For sure.
Car stuff's the same. Everything's the same.
Oh, yeah.
Until you really get into that niche, do you really realize? Gun stuff is another perfect example. People start, they have no idea the amount of money people are spending, like optics and stuff like that.
Oh,
You
yes.
you look at a gun and they go, oh man, that gun's a couple $1,000s. Well, how much was that scope? That's a couple $1,000.
Oh yeah.
And it's mind blowing at first, but when the more you're in that business, you realize like there's certain things
Yeah.
that are so keen that you need
that's
to
it.
have that I'd rather have, something that's really nicely set up than, a perfect example, fishing stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather have one really good setup than 5 half
Oh yeah.
setups.
Yeah. Well,
know?
yeah. Like my brother-in-law, he we were sitting there talking, and I mean, he's essentially the person who taught me how to hunt. So you trust what he says. He comes out and I've always been like, growing up, it's what you could afford to hunt with versus what you could.
Well, that's part of it too. Yeah.
But it was always like Bushnell was like what I could afford, and then as you make a little bit more money or you save up a little bit more, maybe you went to like a Leopold. Nothing wrong with Leopold. They're great scopes, right? And but where's the there's Night Force, all these different scopes, right? And he comes out one day with this scope that I'd never seen, and I mean, I really, the reason why is because I could never have afforded that kind of a scope, but it's a Zeiss scope, and I've seen Schwarzkopf, I guess is how you say it, and he put that up on it was a Zeiss Victory, and I fell in love. That thing was just so crisp and so clear. And, you sit there and say, well, why would you spend that kind of money? Because you don't want to miss, and I mean, you want every advantage possible to shoot that monster buck that's sitting out there. Right. But
You can't explain it to people until they see glass quality.
right. That's it.
You could say all day long, they're going to say, oh, my scope's the same as the other scope. Sure.
Yeah. No.
Until you look through
you see it.
and you see the difference, it's like, wow, how was I using that? How was I using something before?
Well, John here at the shop, swears something down. Trigicon's the way to go. And that fits his eye. Cool. I'm good with that.
Well, that's a perfect example. Years ago, I had a guy sold me an ACOG
Yeah.
for a really good price, and I really couldn't afford it, but I got it, and I had it, and I was like, "This is an amazing optic."
Right,
You
yeah.
know, it was clear, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
And now I have like 7 of them, and they're on
That's
everything.
awesome.
If people look at me like I'm crazy, like we were out shooting one of the 22s, and I had an aim point micro on it, like,
Right.
like a $500 optic. People are like, "What is this little 22?" I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I just want it to be nice. I don't want
Right.
crappy optics. You know, after
Right.
a while, you get kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I can pick up and shoot it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But really, when you, especially like long distance shooting, and especially when you're behind the gun for a long, long time, you know, crappy optics will just wear you
Yeah.
out too. So,
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like that was like John's point when he was talking about. He's like, you know, he goes, "This is what works for me," and he goes, "And it'll put us." You know, he says he swears it'll put a Zeiss to shame. That's hard to believe, but no, I'm joking.
Once you get to a certain point, though,
It's you. You know, it's what works
yeah,
for you.
once you
right?
get to a certain point, the glass quality becomes so good for all of them
Oh, I'm telling you.
that it gets to
Yeah,
be.
it's
You know
hard
what I
not.
mean? It's,
How do you tell the difference?
you're starting to
right?
be.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting to become a little brand preference.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got Zeiss on all of my rifles.
What you
and
like.
It's what I like. You know, it's what my wife likes. So
We have a little bit of variety. We have a lot of church gun stuff, a lot
yeah.
of ACOGs.
yeah.
But then we also have like oddball stuff that people don't know. Like
Oh yeah.
like I have like Mars optics, which are like Israeli battle optics that they made,
Right.
and
Oh, you told me
some
about
Night
that.
Force stuff, and things that just they're just
I
different.
like Night Force.
because they're different. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but Night Force is expensive.
Night Force is
Night Force. I like Night Force. My wallet doesn't, but you know, no, I'm joking. They're wonderful.
Well,
optics.
it's like
really, really cool.
The
optics.
50 had a giant Night Force on it, and then Bohr Barrett made a Bohr system,
Right.
and it was a computer, kind of like a computer system to help you dope the scope automatically.
Right.
So you would zero the gun in, and you would type into the computer
Right.
what round you were shooting, what gun you were using, all that information, and then you would adjust one turret to tell you what you wanted for the distance, and then it would tell you
I've seen new
how to
ones
do
that kind of
everything
do
else.
that, but
This isn't quite where it does everything itself. You
Right.
have to do some, but it'll tell you the turns.
Right,
So you
that's
like, clack,
cool.
clack, clack. But I mean,
so
you
you're
talk
still
about
doing it instead of it doing it for you.
how much money was in that thing,
No,
you know, and then the Barrett itself is
Oh, yeah.
like $10,000.
absolutely.
So, well, maybe not that, maybe like 8, but it's, you know, a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, you're like, you know, how much? That's like 15 grand. You know,
To shoot a
it's-
mile.
Yeah, it's yeah, where are you going to do that at? Too? That's the hard part too, and that's not easy to do either. I mean,
No.
that's not shooting 800 yards, you know.
No.
And I tell people that a lot of times shooting too, like we'll get out there and we'll shoot, and we got a couple places where you can shoot some distance, and 8's about ideal for me, and then after that, it just becomes very, very, very hard. You know,
Oh, yeah.
after that, I mean, that's
Oh yeah.
anything after that is just I don't know. For me, it becomes
It's
a whole
luck.
another nightmare in its own. So
Well, I tell you, it's pretty cool. But anyway, so from along those same lines, we kind of veered off of our topic. You know, we're not in the hunting season yet, so you
no, not
we,
yet.
we got to stick with the fishing. You know, I'm anxious. Got some good trips planned to hunt this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, but we've had some folks that, well, an enormous amount of people asking to come on the podcast.
So it's really fun. I was literally, it's like you read my mind.
yeah,
So I think we got more people asking on the podcast that are actually liking it.
right,
It's funny to me. So most of them all come from some different backgrounds
Yeah.
that are interesting.
yeah,
Everybody's got an interesting thing to bring to the table.
sure,
Maybe not, you know, like an expert at everything or a pro at everything, but
right,
the stuff that I don't know that's really neat, or they're doing different clubs or different ideas.
Yep.
And we've had quite a bit. With that being said, if anyone wants to be on that hasn't reached out to us, reach out to us and talk to us, because we're probably going to have to start setting up a schedule
yeah. Well, there's
to
no
get
question.
some people on, because
We do.
we're definitely going to want to get some people,
Yep.
even if half the people backed out,
Right.
we'd still have a substantial amount of
Right.
people to get out here and talk.
And we can do, you know, we're working out the logistics. We can do I prefer in person. I think
Ideally,
it works better that way, but we can do the streaming aspect where you're, you know, as long as you got good quality video and a good quality audio, we can work that. And worst case, you know, we can have you call in, and we've got the ability to do that. And you can call in and we can discuss, you know, what we want to discuss. So
Well, we don't have the overhead camera anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll
It
eventually
works,
can,
though.
But people probably have not seen how much this has changed.
yeah.
You know, this started as when we started, we had one microphone
Hanging
and we
over.
were sharing it, and it was like
Awful.
It was a mess and a half. And now this literally starts to look like a studio. There's
It
stuff
does.
everywhere. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
The lights.
getting claustrophobic.
I was trying to get my light on. It won't work.
Whoops.
But yeah, I don't know. Didn't want to do it in the middle of the show. So it's becoming much more professional.
Yeah.
And I think that at that point, yeah, we'll have multimedia ways to get people on.
Yeah.
Ideally, to me, I think it's way better to have somebody in person.
Yeah, I like that,
because
but-
I don't have a monitor here.
Yep.
So if they're talking, all I'm going to is hear them, and I like to be able to see somebody.
Yeah.
So I think when we look at some of the people that we have coming on, I
Yeah.
think a lot of the guys that are local and
Yeah.
that are more, people that are enthusiasts
Yeah.
will be great to have on. I think some of the other people that we talked about that are a little higher up in the
Yeah.
realm of things,
Yeah.
they're probably going to have to call in because they're probably going to not
Yeah.
have all the time to come to Virginia.
Well, we got some guys out in Missouri too. They're interested in coming on the podcast. I'm actually interested in having them. I was really late actually, and I apologize if you sent an email. And I haven't replied to you yet. I'm sorry, but these guys, they were very patient with me, and we replied back, and we'll have them on. We're going to try to do that.
Oh, I looked them up last night when I was groundhog.
Yeah,
hunting.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like their stuff.
So we've had groundhogs eating up the
What's
runway.
what's their stuff? The guys that are coming on.
Predator, something Predator.
Yeah.
Waiting on Anna for our facts.
Yeah. She's got the laptop now that she can show on screen too. Pretty slick.
Field predators.
What is it?
Field predators.
Field Predators. All right, cool.
Because they have a Instagram. And
Yeah, they got
I don't think
Instagram.
they have a Facebook. I don't know. I tried to look it up last night. So I've been out for the last week every night at dawn. I mean, not at dawn, at dusk. Every night at dusk,
night at dawn.
trying to shoot these groundhogs and that tear up holes in the runway and the hangar over there.
Right.
And when I don't have anything to do, I go, yes, Anna. Oh, okay. So I thought she was raising her hand. I thought she had a
Oh,
question.
she was gonna get on you.
No, that was our warning.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, it is.
yeah, that's
We're
what
getting
that
there.
was. So, but yeah, no. So if you do want to get on, if you do want to be involved, that's fine. Like I said, we're going to
I'd
start
love to have
setting,
them. Anybody.
setting up a
it's
schedule.
cool, so.
Of
But you
what
got to
we're
have
gonna
something to
do.
talk about too. You can't just come on and we like hanging out with folks. We like talking. Bring something. Talk about something. Tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll set it up. Yeah. So and like I said, whatever you can do. Field Predators. Like I said, go check them out. They're awesome. I like their stuff. They're pretty good folks. So
We've got some guys coming from some different manufacturers.
yeah,
Coming
That's
on
gonna be
to
cool.
talk about stuff that I know from the gun world.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that'll be pretty cool to have some of those guys come on. We might have somebody from maybe a fishing rod company come on.
Yeah, maybe.
some things like that. So, and then on top of that, some guys that are sportsmen that can talk to you
Right.
about the stuff that we talk
Oh,
about.
hey, who was it? Is it Flags? Yeah, Percival Flags. So, have you looked at Percival Flags Instagram? Dude, they have this flag that they did for like a trophy type deal. You
Does
gotta
he,
go.
does he know he's getting that yet?
I'm not saying who it is.
Did he
I'm not saying a word.
ruin a surprise?
I didn't say
Okay,
anything.
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I didn't ruin a surprise.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I just saw a picture of it. I didn't say
Well,
who
I
it was
assume
for.
I
whatever.
assume if the picture's up, it's
I
not
haven't even told you what the picture is.
not
But
a surprise. I know. Anna sent it to me.
Oh,
now
okay,
I know
all
what
right,
you.
I got
When
you.
you first said it, had it been their Facebook?
Oh, no.
No, but I got the picture of what
Yeah.
it is.
So I saw that picture today, and I'm telling you, he does such a badass
Wasn't
job.
he going to do a flag for
I don't know.
the wall or
I'm
something?
not.
think
I
we
would
talked
love
to
to
him?
have one.
I thought we were going to. I thought
Yep.
we were going to talk to him about that.
Yeah, I think we need to. I think he's backed up though because he's got a lot of stuff going on. So free plug if you want. We'd love to have your stuff. We'll pay for it, but we'd love to have your stuff.
So
in
was
here.
it Percival flags, and they have
Yeah.
they have a Facebook. It's a Percival flag.
They got Instagram, Facebook. I'm sure they got a bunch of stuff, and love to have him come in and talk too. So
I think Anna's actually met him before. Yeah, they seem
so
pretty good people.
all right. Well, we are wrapping it up. What you got?
That's about it. I think.
Go outside and play.
Go outside,
Take a kid.
take the kids, go fishing, do
Go
some
fishing.
stuff.
Yeah.
The weather's nice right about now. Super hot, but get
Yeah.
out there in the morning and the evening,
Yeah. Fish in the middle of the pond.
do some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's a little tough for freshwater fishing right now.
Yeah.
those
Fish in the
ponds.
middle of the pond. So,
So, other than that, yeah, we don't have anything lined up trip wise for a little bit.
yeah.
I think.
We'll talk more about that after we're over. Oh, before I forget, we got like a minute left, but before I forget, we finally got everything up on Spotify. So for those of you who do not want to listen on YouTube or have a Spotify account, it is The Hunting Quest on Spotify. I've got an intro up there, and then we've got episode 3. We'll have episode 4 right after we finish this. It takes I don't know, about 25, 30 minutes.
Oh,
to get
that was
up
another
there.
thing too. We might do some in between videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out on YouTube. We're gonna definitely do some how-to videos and things like that.
Not live.
Yeah, not live. So, but they're gonna go up there, and we'll let you know more about them too. So
Yeah, ideally maybe one before the next podcast. We'll
yeah.
see. So
for
we're gonna
sure.
try to if that gets enough attention, we'll try
Yeah.
to do those a little more often. So
Yep.
getting some more media out there.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I think that does it, right?
That's it. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
You've been listening to The Hunting Quest. No matter how crazy, high-tech, or lazy the rest of the country gets, we will always be hunting and fishing. If that's you, you've found your new family. Thanks to our sponsor, Davis Guns and Gear. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. Reach out to us by email at info@thehuntingquest.com. And check us out on Instagram and YouTube at The Hunting Quest. See you next time.